Usually, games that I like have an optimistic message about the future. Celeste is about climbing a mountain, representing the constant fight against the worst parts of yourself, like guilt, depression, anxiety, and more. And by the end of the game, the protagonist can climb the mountain by accepting herself even with the bad parts. Undertale is about consequences, and going through the pacifist route means a happy ending for the monsters you've grown to care and love. Stardew Valley is about a peaceful life in a quiet village, and Danganronpa is quite literally about fighting despair with the hopes of a better future. A happy ending at the end of the tunnel. But what if there's no happy ending? What if you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but there's nothing? A grim thought, to be sure, but one that's interesting to explore in media. One of them being a game called Songs of the Rats, a game that puts you on a post-apocalyptic world with monsters and danger in every corner. You can choose your avatar, your set of initial skills, and after that, you just go outside to search for a better future for you and your people. The gameplay is more of a point and click with dialogue, very similar to games like Paper Please and Who's Your Neighbor. But instead of reading papers, you need to make choices based on the energy you have for the day. Some choices are good, like looting or the possibility to be better at one of your three main statistics, which are body, mind, and spirit. Body means your physical strength, like your ability to fight or your endurance. Mind means your intellectual strength, like knowledge or solution thinking. And spirit, the last one, describes your strength as a person and ability to move on. The game's story progresses mostly as a visual novel, describing the situations that happen to your character and having you choose decisions. Sometimes you'll have to fight with statistics, and you have to choose between engaging or fleeing depending on your situation. And such, you dive deeper into the ruins of what was once a civilization you never knew. That's interesting, isn't it? The game tells you you are hiding like a rat in a post-apocalyptic world. But what does that really mean, being the song of a rat, as the game title says? It's actually very metaphorical, and at least this is my interpretation. In the game, we are told that we never knew what a Pacific civilization is. All we know is the horrors we see in the game. And yet, our characters are hopeful. We start the game with a monologue about how you may be the rat song that may prevail. But why even try when you've never seen the sunrise? That's a question I had while playing the game, and it relates to the title, the song. Some of you may know this, some of you don't, but in violent time periods of the world, music and songs have been used as a way to cheer up soldiers and people. And of that, there's no better example than the songs of my people, Chilean people. If you may, I want to speak a bit more about my culture, so you can understand the point I'm trying to make here. During the 70s and the 90s, there was a dictator in my country. His name was Augusto Pinochet, and his dictatorship lasted 17 years. While I don't want to get into too many details, I will say it was a very dark time for the people in Chile, including censorship and violence against civilians. It was so horrible that today, 30 years later, there's still a lot of victims of the tragedy, including the families of the victims who are still missing nowadays. In these dark times, very few things kept people moving forward, and one of those things was the music. The songs being born to keep people with hope for a better future. Songs like La Memoria es un Arma and El Pueblo Unido Jamás Será Vencido are songs that spoke to people that, to the eyes of the military, were less than rats. I guess you see why this game felt different to me in that regard. While I know that the game is not really about my people, I also know that the very specific use of words make reference to different times in history where songs were made to keep hope. But then, that would make a very hard message. What if the songs don't have hope? What if, just like in the game, your song just dies and it ends there? Well, while the beginning of the video was a more pessimistic view on the future based on how many people would perish in the game, The truth is that the game is still a demo, and there is a happy ending. The game doesn't have only bad endings. There is an ending in the story mode where you can push through the darkness and save your people. But a lot of the time is luck dependent, and you need to know what to do based on your previous attempts to go through the game. This means that more than one of your songs will end soon, and while that gives experience to the next rad song, the first one is just gone. It's an ending, and a crude one at that, but it's real, and I don't think we should ignore it. It's a bittersweet thought to have, but that's just reality for some people, and it just so happens it's also my reality as well. While you can probably guess already that this video is sponsored by Songs of the Rats, honestly, having a break from talking just about Yandere Simulator or Yandere games, or even my own game, feels quite refreshing. And as a plus, I was able to teach a bit more about my culture too. You can add the game to your Steam's wishlist, and for being my first full video sponsorship, I actually feel happy to talk about a project like this. It's inspiring. Like I said before, every sponsor I get gets their own fan art. So here's my fan art of the game, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you stay safe, drink water, and sing a song for relaxation in the shower today. See ya! Hey, this is Sophie paused recording, and I realized I forgot to mention a few things, and I also wanted to add a few others in the video, so yeah, we're doing this. I remember having a point to talk about the spirit stat and how that affects the gameplay. As for now, it doesn't seem to affect as much as it does the physical stat with fights, and I'm actually quite curious to know what happens once the full game is done. The spirit statistic is by far the statistic I'm more interested in, considering the description is quite literally that it gives you a will to keep pushing forward. That also speaks to me personally, but I don't think I'm quite comfortable talking about that yet, so yeah. There's a lot of potential I see in this game, especially considering I generally enjoy playing it. And not only me, but my husband PinkCat also enjoyed playing it as well, which means the game is pretty good, considering both me and my husband have very different tastes in video games. The replayability is also quite interesting, and I hope we can have a few more scenarios in the future. Thank you so much for sticking till the end with me. I know these types of videos are a bit weird, but I don't know. I feel like talking a bit more about my culture, and the sponsor's game theme seemed like a good opportunity to break routine and such. There's some other stuff I want to talk about in my channel, but for now, I think this is it. Okay, now for real. Thanks for watching, and see ya!
Thank you so much for the channel, support, as well as the sponsorship opportunities. I love you.